begin, I want to differentiate between the definition of sustainable investing collectively and ESG. They do work together, but I just want to make a subtle distinction between the two. Some of you may have heard the term ESG in the media in the last year or so. Stands for environmental, social, and governance factors. Now, this is the criteria upon which we evaluate a sustainable investing strategy. And sustainable investing has existed in some form or another for a very long time, back hundreds of years in some cases. So in terms of it being new, it's not really that new, but it is very innovative in the sense that it's becoming much more inclusive regarding areas of interest. And so today some of you know I could probably opine on this for an hour or more, so I only have a few minutes to discuss with you, but I just want to touch upon three major trends to be cognizant of over the next 50 years or so. So Chris, you can actually advance one more. This is just a breakdown of what I'll mention in one of the topic areas. So it's actually quite wonderful that Shelley and Angela teed me up very nicely here, because it limits the work that I have to do in convincing you that this is a strong area of interest for millennial investors. And why is this super important? Well, the millennial demographic of investors tends to focus more on investing for social justice, for addressing climate change issues, supporting sustainable brands, and working for socially conscientious employers. And the data that I like to cite is from a report that's published every 2 years from Morgan Stanley. It began in 2015 that every 2 years they would interview 1,000 investors, those same 1,000 investors, and monitor their interest as it pertains to sustainable investments over time. And so the latest report that has come about from them in 2021 noted that the vast majority of millennial investors have an interest in sustainable investing. And it's really the responsibility of financial planners to get them to that point where they can actually put those dollars to work, recognizing that this is an area that they can take part in. So it's worth noting too that even though you have about 99% of them now that currently are interested, only about 67% of them actually adopt the strategy. So bridging that gap of interest is really important, especially when it comes to a demographic level. Now, so that's point number one. Point number two is noting that when it comes to defined contribution plans at employers, in the current year, about 8% of all privately held defined contribution plans in the US have one ESG-related retirement plan option. That's actually up from 2.9% in 2019. So there is sustainable growth there, substantial growth there. However, it's also worth noting that 30 to 40% of the employers that haven't done this yet are planning to do so in the coming years. So an area of growth of having this option available for retirement plans. And then lastly, I just want to note that another area of interest that pertains to millennials, but also to those on a larger scale, is noting that if you are going to evaluate investments, we're at a phase where things are gradually improving. So it's not yet an exact science, nor is there a consensus on a global scale of what actually constitutes sustainable investing. So as this evolves over time, this will become a little bit more clear. And when it becomes more clear, you do see the majority of younger investors demand an impact report alongside their financial reports. What is an impact report? Well, it's taking a look at how your dollars specifically made a difference in this community, in the number of trees that you saved, in the number of animals you saved, et cetera. And they find that this, alongside financial returns, is becoming easier to track over time when there is more data and more metrics available. So those are just 3 little data points that I have for you here.